Today's our topic, you can say we are at last of the course, and it's again a theory-based thing, which is tax administration for individuals. We did already the tax administration for companies, which we already knows now some terms, which are return, the date of return, payment. These are difference between both. These all we already learned when we discussed tax administration for companies, right or wrong?
Right.
So the continuity of this topic, but now it's for the individual, is tax administration for individual. First of all, individual is paying advance tax on its income, which is employment income under the pay system. When we learned employment income, if you open the handout of employment income, on the last page of the handout, you will find out where I wrote some forms P11D, P60, this, that, and what is pay system and what is the due date. Then the second topic is self administration or assessment, which is our today's topic. First of all, when individual need to file the return, so individual have two choices. Companies have no choice. They have to submit the return electronically, but individual can submit a return electronically as well as paper return is also allowed for individuals. The due date, the due date for paper return is 31st October. The due date for paper return is 31st October 22. If you are submitting it by paper, this is your last date to submit the return. And if you are submitting online return, you have some extended date, which is 31st Jan 23. These are the standard dates for submitting returns by individual. But same thing will apply, which is same in companies as well, that 3 months if a notice is issued. If government issue you a notice, the standard rates will be set aside and you have to submit your return within 3 months of notice. Got it?
Could you repeat that last one?
If government is issuing you a notice that, hey, I need the return, so you will not tell them, please wait till 31st Jan 23 or please wait till 31st October 22. My due date is still ahead. No, you have only now 3 months to submit the return because government is asking, government is sending you a notice to submit the return. Same like companies. Okay.
Okay.
HMRC has 9 months to claim against you. If you submit a return and 9 months passed, and then after 9 months, if HMRC found out that this return is wrong or there is some mistakes, HMRC cannot make any claim because in the purple box is written HMRC has 9 months from the receipt to correct errors. HMRC has only 9 months to correct the errors, and taxpayer has 12 months after the due filing date to inform HMRC that HMRC, I am amending my return. I had something to amend it. You are not required to tell that I had a mistake or I made an error. You have 12 months. You submitted a return. Companies don't have these things. But for individual, you have 12 months that HMRC, I submitted the return and you didn't catch me. I want to amend my return, so you are allowed to do so, but you have only 12 months to ask for any amendment. Okay.
Okay.
Now, individual, how we are paying tax for individual? This is on the basis of POA. The individual payment will be based on POA. company has installment system or one-off payment. Two options, na large company, not a large company. But individual don't have this thing. Individuals will pay income tax, NIC 4, NIC 2, this by this date. We will discuss how. But first of all, what is POA? What is POA? POA, you can say tax payment in advance. Easy. Easy wording is payment on account, yani payment in advance. Government asks individuals that you have to pay us the tax in advance if you satisfy some conditions. Otherwise, you can pay tax in arrears. This will be later on. If government is asking you to pay tax in advance means payment on account, you will be required to pay the tax in advance. You have to pay the tax in POA form, which will be two POAs, which will be how many POAs? Only two, yani two installments. How many installments?
Two and
For individual, it's two. For companies, it depends. Not a large company, one off payment. Large company, four installments. For individual, how many installments are there? Only
two.
two. Only two. The installment payment date is as follows. The first payment date, the first POA due date is, I am writing it, 31st January 22. This is our tax year 21 and 22. The second POA due date is 31st July 22. And now this is advance tax, right or wrong? Advance tax means
Right.
still the tax year is not completed. The tax year is not completed. You are paying government in advance. You are paying the tax to government in advance. So when the year will complete, is it possible that your guess is 100% right? That what you paid and the actual liability of tax is same? No, it cannot be the case. So the balancing payment will be done. One question we will do, you will understand what is balancing payment, but just assume that we are paying tax in advance and the actual liability comes after it. The actual liability comes after it. So if the actual liability is calculated, the actual liability is calculated, definitely there will be some differences. There will be what? There will be some differences. So if there are differences, these differences will be settled as a name. We are giving it a name of balancing payment, and the due date for balancing payment is 31st Jan 2023. You got my point?
Got it.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. That's what is our handout, which just we spoke about. I am sending you this as well. Now, I am opening OneNote. Now here, I will write something. 20, our text here is what? Which is my text here? What is my text here?
21, 22.
21, 22. Now, very carefully, huh? 21, 22. POA 1. The date is 31st Jan 22, right? 21,
Right.
22 POA number 2. The date is 31st July 22, right?
Right.
These both will be based on the values of 20 and 21. We are working for 21, 22, but the data which we will consider will be from previous year because the tax year is not completed. Our tax year is what? This is my tax year, no? So 6th April 21 till 5th April 22. So you are paying the first installment. The tax year is not yet finished. How you can pay the installment amount? What basis? So in order to solve this problem, the tax authority says, don't worry, for the POAs, both, huh? Not only for one, for POA 1 and POA 2, you will be calculating the amount based on previous tax year, based on previous tax year.
Tax year previous.
And the formula to calculate this POA is as follows. The formula is total tax liability, total tax liability. The total tax liability, if I write it in more clear form, it will be better. I will write it like this so you can easily memorize it. I will write it in this way. Income tax minus pay as you earn. This will be given. This will be given. Income tax, pay as you earn plus NIC 4 plus NIC 4, and whatever the answer will come, you will divide it with by 2. So you will get POA, amount of payment on account. But make sure or remember this, that these values will be based on 2021 in order to calculate the POA for 21 and 22. We are calculating POA for tax year 21-22, but the data, but the values which we are going to use will be past data, will be past data. Past data means previous tax year data. You got my point?
Got it.
Now I am sharing a small example question. If you want to note it down, please go ahead.
I wrote it down.
Very good. Now read the question, please.
Roderick is required to make payments on account on his liability for the tax year 2021 to 2022. His income tax liability for the tax year 2020 to 2021 was £5,100. Of this, £1,250 was collected via pay as you earn. Calculate Roderick's POA for the tax year 2021 to 2022.
So you need to calculate POA for 21-22. So you have to use the data for previous year. What is the income tax?
His income tax liability is 5,100.
What is my payee?
1,200.
Any class 4?
Not mentioned.
So what is the divide by 2 answer?
192.
1925 POA 1 and 1925 POA 2. 31st Jan and 31st July. These are the due dates which we learned, 31st Jan and 31st July 22. That's it for the how to calculate POA. Any questions?
No, no question.
Okay, now tell me the answer of this question, please. At your screen in 1 second. Try it by your own, please. 4,000 is the correct answer. C. Income tax is 9400, P is 2100, NIC4 is 700. So divided by 2 will be 4,000, POA 1, POA 2. Okay. Any questions?
Okay. No question.
Okay. Now the examiner is asking one more question. When POA required? When PO, how to calculate POA? We learned. But if we required to pay in POAs or we are not required to pay tax in POA? Yani not POA required means you need to pay it one shot, one time payment. This is yes means two installments, POA 1 and POA 2. Got my point? What I want to ask. Okay. So it's the examiner asked you that when POA is required. So the answer is very simple. But you can say the answer is a formula. The answer is a formula. The formula is this. What we are calculating, no? This what? This we are using this formula, no? We are calculating this. We are dividing this, multiplying this, that. This what? This is known as relevant amount. This is what?
Relevant amount.
Relevant amount is how. Just give me 1 second. I need to align it. 1 second. See. Okay. So this bracket answer is how much? The answer of this bracket is how much?
Or 8,000.
The answer of this bracket is 8,000. This 8,000 is known as relevant amount. This 8,000 is known as relevant amount. Now, what is the use of this relevant amount? There is no use while we are calculating the POA amount, but the relevant amount use is here when we required, when if examiner asks when you required POA, either you are required POA or no, then you will see the relevant amount and just you will compare it. That this 8,000, which is relevant amount, which is what? Relevant amount, and you will ask in excess of. Either the relevant amount is in excess of 1 and 2. The one is a limit which is 1,000 and the 2 is 20%. The 2 is 20% of bracket. Bracket means NIC4. Bracket means NIC4 and income tax. Just for the sake of this question, if I calculate it, this 1,000 is fixed. The income tax was 9,400 and IC4 was 700. Right or wrong? The 20% of this bracket is how much? Yes.
2020.
Now very carefully, very carefully. This 2020 and this 1,000. Tell me this is 8,000. Relevant amount is 8,000. This 1,000 is lower and this 2020 is lower. Both are lower than the relevant amount or no?
Yes.
relevant amount is in excess of 1000 and is excess of the 20% of these two items, right or wrong? So
Right.
POA required. POA required if relevant amount, which is 8000 in this case, is in excess of 1000 or 20% of income tax and NIC for both. We will compare it first with the limit, which is 1000. Then we will compare it with the 2020, which is the formula's answer. And we will say, yes, the relevant amount is in excess of both of them, is in excess of both of them. So company is required POA. The company is required to pay its taxes in form of POA. And how to calculate POA? We already know. Any problems?
No.
Please note it down. Now the last, very one of the last important topic of this chapter is balancing payment. The balancing payment, we already told you, I already told you the date for balancing payment, right? Balancing payment for 21-22. The tax year is this one, no? So the balancing payment for 21-22 will be on 31st January 23. And in order to calculate the balancing payment, we have a formula. The formula is income tax plus NIC2 plus NIC4 plus CGT minus pay as you earn minus POA 1 and POA 2. This is the formula to calculate balancing payment. We already knows the formula to calculate POAs. Now we know the formula to calculate balancing payment. Now we did Roderick, right? Before a while we solved a question called Roderick, right or wrong?
Right.
If we continue the Roderick question, the POAs we already have, no, here. Just I want you to review it. Just review the Roderick. Just review this answer, please. Just read the question first, which we already solved, and just review the answer and see everything is okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Roderick, POAs we are cleared, right? Now the Roderick continuity, the continuity of the question. I need you to read it, please.
Continuing the example of Roderick from above, you now learn that his final liability for the tax year 21 to 22 is 7,629 pounds. Of this amount, 1,635 has been collected via the pay-as-you-earn system. State the total amount payable by Roderick on 31st January 23 and what the payment relates to.
Now, first of all, tell me the Roderick POAs are how much?
1925.
Yeah, this we already solved, no? But now what he is asking in this question, they change the data, no? They change a bit. What they are saying, just read, continuing the example of the above. Now you know that the actual liability of Roderick is how much? 7629. Of this amount, 1635 has been collected by payee system. State the total amount by Roderick on this date. Now this date is 31st January, right? So 31st January, what Roderick is going to do? He has to clear the previous year balances. Balancing payment 31st Jan 23. This balancing payment is for the tax year 21 and 22. Am I right? The formula
Right.
is here. Can you tell me the values of the formulas, please? Income tax,
Income tax plus NIC2, NIC4 plus CGT.
there is no NIC2, there is no NIC4, nothing, 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 nothing. We have only pay, which is,
1635.
and this see balancing payment, we are taking the data for the same year. If it is 21-22, the whole data is 21-22. We are not taking previous data because it's a adjustment. For POAs, we are using previous year data. You have the POA's answer, right? You can see the POA amount was how much? One POA is 1925. So two POAs means 1925 and 1925, or you can add them together and deduct one time as well. This choice is yours. As per the formula, you will know the balancing payment amount, which is
2143.
2144, right?
2143.
Okay, 2143.
3.
Okay, no problem. Any questions till now? Balancing payment?
No, no question.
The requirement, can you read the requirement and tell me he is asking you about the balancing payment, or he is just asking you about the about the amounts payable on this particular date?
Is the amount payable on this date and
So
the
on
payment
31st
related.
January, what happens? 31st January 23, okay, we have a balancing payment date. But do we have POS date on the same date or no?
Yeah,
The 31st January 22 is the POA date for which tax year?
for previous.
Huh?
Can you repeat the question?
This date has POA date. This is the POA 1 date, no? 31st January 2022. This is for which tax year?
This for previous one.
Based on previous, but it's for which our current tax year, no? 21-22, right?
Yeah,
POA for tax year 21-22 based on 2021. This date is 31st January 22, right? But he is not asking January 31st, 22. He is just playing around. What he is doing, he is writing us 31st Jan 23. So this is balancing payment date plus this is POA 1 date as well for the tax year. Which tax year?
21, 22.
22-23. See, look here. This is the date. 2022 is the date for the tax year 21-22, right or wrong? So
Right.
if I make it 31st January 23, it will be for which tax year?
22, 23.
You got my point.
Okay.
So he is playing in this way. He is giving you this date and asking. So in this date, we have the POA1 for the upcoming tax year, the next tax year. And based on working will be based on which date? Which tax year? Our tax year 21-22. And the formula for POA we knows income tax minus payee plus NIC4 divided by 2. So if I apply this in this question, Income tax is there, 7629, 2122 data, no? Income tax is there,
Okay.
1635 is the payee, NIC is nothing, divided by 2, what is the answer?
2144.
2144. The final answer of this question is adding them both. Why? Because he is not asking you that tell me balancing payment amount, tell me POA1 amount for the upcoming tax year. No, he is asking you please tell me on 31st January 23 the total payable amount or total payout to HMRC from your pocket will be how much? So we said it's 5141. 5141. Any confusion?
No, no confusion.
And we can say that we are done with this individual's tax administration, and this is the major element of individual's tax adjustments, tax assessments. I am sharing one question. I need you to tell me the answer. Just read it carefully, read the requirement carefully, and tell me the answer of IBAS, and then we will discuss. Okay. Balancing payment, right? 31st Jan 23 is the due date, right? The data will be used for the balancing payment will be for 21-22, the same tax year. So income tax minus payee plus NIC2 plus NIC4 plus CGT, then minus POAs, right? 1 and 2. They told you for the tax year 21-22, you already had a POAs of 8,000. So what is your balancing payment? 5,700, right or wrong?
Are you writing on the screen? Oh,
Yes, I wrote it. No? You can see this one. Yes, Usman, you can see the what I wrote.
no.
What about POA? One for 22-23. 22-23 POA will based on 21 previous year data. The formula for POA is income tax, then PE, income tax, which is this, and PE plus NIC4, which is 800 divided by 2. So the POA's answer is 4550.
Yeah, I got this right.
Yeah.
I got this one right.
Okay. And what's the mistake or what's the problem in the balancing payment?
I think the figures are like
Ah,
wrong
okay.
calculation.
Calculation. It's okay. So you can say the tax administration, the major element, major part is done.